As Canadians are celebrating Canada Day with backyard barbecues, family gatherings, and fireworks, safety should remain top of mind, especially when it comes to handling fireworks at home. Every year, preventable injuries and fires occur across the country due to improper firework use, and Toronto is no exception. To help residents enjoy a safe and festive long weekend, we're now joined by Marla Friebe, acting deputy chief with Toronto Fire, to break down the do's and don'ts of fire safety. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Now, what are the key safety tips that you want the public to keep in mind when operating fireworks in their own backyards?
Well, I think first and foremost, we want to make sure that the public has a backyard or a space on their property that's suitable really to igniting fireworks. You want to make sure that you don't have overhead branches hanging over, nearby fences, anything that's combustible. So ensure that you're using them in an adequate space. Otherwise, we really recommend go to a public place where they're having a public demonstration of fireworks. That's first and foremost. Secondly, read the manufacturer's instructions. Every single type of firework is a little bit different. If they come with portable bases, fantastic. If they don't, we recommend submerging them in a bucket of sand so that they're stable and that they don't tip over when they're igniting. Additionally, we want to ensure that adults over the age of 18 are using these combustible fireworks and not children.
And after a firework is lit, what is the safe distance for someone to be staying away from it?
Really, we say stay back an arm's length, but farther is better to ensure that once it's ignited that you turn your face away. We also recommend the wearing of safety goggles and safety gloves during the ignition process as well.
And what are some of the most common mistakes or incidents Toronto Fire sees related to people lighting fireworks?
So what we're seeing is that children are using them or igniting them, which is against the bylaw. Additionally, we have had years where young people take fireworks and aim them at each other. And so we're seeing a lot of injuries, a lot of very severe burns as a result of this as well. And in general, just unsafe use of fireworks, where families maybe aren't submerging the firework deeply enough into the sand base. And when they ignite, there's a tendency for them to tip over and, of course, ignite anything that's surrounding the area.
Now, you mentioned severe burns. What should someone do if a severe burn does happen from a firework?
Generally, we recommend just cooling the burn right away with cool water. However, if it's a significant burn where you know that it's gone through a number of layers of skin, or if there's any type of charring of the skin, we ask that you seek medical attention immediately.
And are there any specific times when fireworks are allowed in Ontario?
Well, I can speak specifically to the City of Toronto, and we permit them here on Canada Day and on Victoria Day.
Mhm.
However, you are permitted through the application of a permit to use them on any day of the year if you do have one, up to 11 p.m. at night.
And what should someone do if a firework doesn't go off after it's lit?
Really, we say stay away from it, let it sit by itself for about 30 minutes, then take that firework and submerge it in a bucket of cold water. Really make sure that it's doused properly, and then you can actually put it in your regular waste disposal bins afterwards. We also recommend that you don't put too many fireworks together at one time. Group them in bundles of about 10 and dispose of them at that rate.
And in regards to using the correct space to let off a firework, now you mentioned previously that some people's backyards might not be big enough, or there might be trees that hang over that could create a hazard. In regards to if people choose to go to an open field, would they be allowed to go to any sort of open field to let off a firework, or what's the protocol in that case?
Well, in Toronto, you're not permitted to go to a public space to set them off. You're only permitted to have personal fireworks displays on your own property. So you're not permitted on beaches or in parks, on roads, or in any public space otherwise.
And what about sparklers? People often think that those are harmless, but there must be risks associated with them, especially as you mentioned, people are shooting fireworks at each other sometimes. What are the risks with fire or with sparklers?
Well, sparklers are very appealing to young children, so
Mhm.
just make sure that they're using them safely, that they're not running around and potentially falling and burning themselves or others. They do remain very, very hot for a period after they extinguish. Again, set them to the side for about 30 minutes and douse them in cold water to ensure that they're nice and cool to the touch before disposing.
And in regards to bonfires, how important is it that after having a bonfire, especially over the long weekend when maybe you've had a few drinks and you forget that there's a bonfire going, that you put it out at the end of the night?
Yes, actually, in the city of Toronto, we don't permit any type of open air burning.
Mhm.
I know it's different in the rest of the province, but here in the city, they're not permitted unless you're using a specific open air burning pit that you've applied for a permit for in a public space. But in general, if someone's out camping over the weekend, douse it immediately with sand or water